And we are now live. What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Cider Report back for another video. So, as I have literally just tweeted out, I don't know if any of you have seen it or heard it or anything else, but as I have literally just tweeted out, yeah, brand new series that we're going to be doing here on the channel. I'm very excited for it, actually. Because I have a couple of characters lined up. Not too many of them. Like I've talked about them like individually in the past, but you know, this is like a deep dive into kind of who they are, into why specifically I either do or don't like them. It's not always going to be, you know, here's a person that we're going to shit on for an hour, hour and a half, however long it ends up being. But yeah, like I'm super excited for this, actually. Yeah, you know, it's just brand new kind of content and stuff like that. I don't see too many people kind of delving into this or kind of doing it this way and stuff like that. So we'll see how successful it is, and how, yeah, just how successful it's going to be. But yeah, we will, with that being said, the first person that we have to kind of talk about, and it's just because oh my god, I genuinely, words cannot describe how much I despise this individual. And I don't use that word lightly. I mean, I absolutely despise Piers Morgan. There is one topic that I have conceptually agreed with, but I don't agree with how he even talks about it. And that being guns. But, you know, he'll talk about like, oh, but you can't have a Kinder Surprise. Dude, listen. Shut the fuck up. There are so many better. Arguments and like roads that you can go down when you're talking about guns, specifically with the United States. So just, yeah. Anyway, with that being said, we're going to switch over to, so this video, it kind of inspired me to do a reaction to this, but then I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, we're going to make this a series. We're going to make you know, a series going forward, talking about why I do or don't like certain individuals. Now, Father Ted Crilly has just posted up saying Piers Morgan and Andrew Tate are the best versions of men in the world today. I sincerely hope that is satire. Sincerely hope that is satire, because if not, just for your own sake, I don't feel like there's going to be a place for you on my channel. That's assuming that's maybe satire, or you're maybe kind of joking or anything else. But yeah, we're gonna do a deep dive into this. We'll pause as we're going along, because I have so much to fucking talk about. I normally don't watch videos beforehand, or if I have, I will always tell you I have watched this previously. But I just think that it encapsulates exactly what I want to talk about. Anyway, introductions out of the way, burst on into the video.
Welcome to all of you. Chick Yuga, there's a lot going on. I mean, the news cycle right now feels slightly insane. You know, you've got Donald Trump nearly assassinated again, twice in 2 months now. You've got apparently Israel launching this extraordinary attack across the whole of Lebanon on thousands of Hezbollah terrorists, and of course wounding and potentially killing as well civilians in the process. So there's a lot to unpack here. What do you make of it?
Okay, first of all, on Donald Trump, what do you want me to do? The guy did a coup attempt. He had fake electors, not even his own electors. You have your own slate of electors. He didn't use them because they said this is unconstitutional and illegal. You lost the election. And he said, all right, you can get in fake electors. Let's do a coup attempt here. Let's have them bum rush the Capitol. And then that'll create enough confusion that we can bring it back to the states and the Republicans will cheat for us. They even wrote it in a book. Then he said we should terminate the Constitution because he lost the election. So what do you want me to do, Piers? The guy hates democracy. He's a dictator wannabe. So, okay, should you shoot at him? Of course not. Any action that is physical like that or violent is a surrender.
Sorry, I normally wouldn't pause it unless I disagree or unless I kind of have something to add. I have mixed opinions about Cenk Uygur. I just have mixed opinions about him. However, that being said, he does an unbelievably good job in this panel. He is effectively, actually 3-on-1 Donald Trump. And yeah, does an unbelievable job. Just wanted just to get that out there. And
in the intellectual field of debate and ideas. So it's a terrible idea, it's immoral, etc. But I'm not going to let up on Donald Trump for 1 second rhetorically, because he is a monster. And he tried to terminate our Constitution. He tried to steal an election. I've never seen anyone so despicable in American politics. And by the way, there's another reason why I'm angry at him, because I'm a populist. And he took populism and he perverted it to just turning into his own personal con. He's such a slimy con man. I loathe him. Everyone should vote against him. He's one of the worst people I have ever seen in politics, and I'm not going to let him terminate the Constitution or destroy this democracy.
You see, what I find extraordinary, Cenk, is you haven't even given it
his
a beat
response here
since he nearly had his brains blown out on Sunday on a golf course, which came 2 months after.
Did he give a beat, Piers? Did he give a beat? Did he ever give a beat when he constantly talks about violence? Hey, if someone takes out somebody from with a stretcher, I'll pay the legal bills. Attack people. Oh, my political opponents, I'm going to jail them. I'm going to attack them.
Well, to be clear, hang on. To be clear, you're trying to equate him making a joke about maybe slapping or punching someone in a crowd who's abusing him with someone.
Can I make a joke
with
about
someone taking an AK
Trump across the face?
Well, hang on, was somebody
Can I make that joke?
Was somebody
Can
actually,
I make that joke, Piers?
Well, hang on, somebody actually shooting him on a rally stage and then very nearly shooting him on a golf course with an AK-47. Do you not see the difference?
So, Piers, those are terrible actions. So what I'm asking you a literal question. What do you want me to just go?
Could you give it a beat?
Okay, now Donald Trump's a good. Hold on, let me finish.
this is the thing, like, personal accountability and consequences for your actions and all of these sorts of things, like, they have, for some reason, they've just gone out the fucking window. Nobody cares about them anymore. Nobody cares about, like, it's almost offensive now to say that if you do X or if you do Y, well, then Z is going to happen. Like, if you go out into the fucking streets and you're carrying, not on your shoulder, not on, not just like with like a strap, like in your hands, an AR-15, you're going to get arrested, son. That's going to happen to you. But for some reason, it's like, I guarantee you, man, I swear to Christ, we're about 4 to 5 months away from having a video on TikTok or on YouTube or Twitter, whatever, of a guy who's actually doing that, gets arrested, and then fucking bitches and moans and complains that, like, that like his suppression of free speech or his of his Second Amendment rights have been taken away. Like, no, dude, fucking actions have consequences. And to pull this back to what we're talking about here, it's exactly as Cenk has said. How many times has Trump jokingly, apparently, is the defense that Piers is going with, but jokingly talked about violence, about wanting to enact or to do violence. But now when violence happens to him, oh no, suddenly we're to fucking coddle him and we're to be like, oh no, Mr. Trump, are you okay, sir? Are you okay? Like, oh my God, we never seen this happening. Dude, shut the thing. It just reminds me of these people who will like dish out insults or like fucking petty little jabs or whatever in like a workplace or a friend group, whatever. Just dish them out like all the fucking time after time after time after time. But then as soon as one person says something back to him, oh my God, you're so, like, heaven forfend. And oh my God, you're so offensive. You're so this, you're so that. Dude, like, if you can dish it out, you have to fucking take it. So in order for maybe this to not happen again, maybe Trump shouldn't fucking dish it out. And he shouldn't joke about doing violence. And he shouldn't, like, okay the idea of violence. It has become so unbelievably normalized. Trump said that he could shoot a person on Fifth Avenue and not lose a single voter. And the way that the MAGA cult is now, I genuinely actually believe that if there was fucking news footage, a video footage of Trump with any classification of a gun shooting somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue, he would not lose a single voter. I genuinely believe that. And what a sad fucking state of affairs that I genuinely believe that to be the case. Having said all of that, that's just one example. How many times has he endorsed violence? How many times has he said, go out there and do violence? And when violence happens to him, we're supposed to coddle him. We're supposed to act like this came out of absolutely nowhere. Well, no, I'm sorry. And look, Pierce has been guilty of this before, or like he's been kind of seen or perceived as being guilty of this before, because he went on the fucking Celebrity Apprentice and Donald Trump really liked him and they've had a good fucking friendship ever since and blah, 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 blah. He's interviewed him a handful of times. He's given him softball fucking questions. And look, like Pierce, when he's interviewing, to give him credit where credit is due, he does grill people. Now, do I sometimes find it like a little bit annoying that for the span of about 3 months, every single guest that came onto his show, he was like asking them if they condemned October the 7th? October the 7th. What happened on that date? What happened on that date, guys? Genuinely. Because, I mean, it's just gone out of my zeitgeist. What happened on that date? Very, very fucking ludicrously specific date. Something big must have happened on that date. It's like, we need to... He will grill people, but it's like... Sometimes I don't even fucking agree with what he's what he's grilling them on. It's just silly. Anyway, let's just burst on.
Finish the question.
On a human level,
Donald Trump's a good guy. Donald Trump loves democracy. Donald Trump's still the same monster he was yesterday. So I hate that people are shooting at him. It's so dumb. It's immoral. It's wrong.
Why would you be surprised?
I can't condemn it any stronger.
Why would you be surprised?
I'm not going to tell you that Donald Trump is a decent man.
But Jake,
when
why
he's
would
a
you
grotesque human being?
Why would you be surprised that people are taking drastic action? Unhinged people with unhinged brains who are listening to constant rhetoric from people.
You didn't answer the question.
Well,
what do you want me to do? You want me to politically surrender, right?
I'm asking you a question. Do you not consider for a moment that within 48 hours you're still saying monster, demagogue, dictator, blah,
yes,
blah, 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 blah.
Because that's who he is.
Yes, but this is what is
affecting... So you want me to lie?
Yeah, because
Here's, tell me this.
Because,
do you want me to lie?
Let me finish. The shooter at the golf course, specifically in his recent...
See, here's the thing. Sorry, no, like this is going to be one hell of a long video. Okay, so fucking strap in. Here's the thing. Would Pierce have been saying this if he was alive, if he was as he is right now, the age that he is, the character that he is, everything else that he is right now, if he was alive back in fucking 1940s Germany and somebody fucking took a shot at Hitler, would he be saying the same thing? Would we not be allowed to say that he was a genocidal maniac then? That's accurately describing him. So I mean, like, would we not be allowed to accurately describe him for a couple of days as he wants us to not do? Would we not be able to factually put across exactly the character of the man? Would we not be allowed to do that? So, like, simply because somebody takes a shot at you, which, as Cenk says, and I completely fucking agree with him, is wrong and is stupid, you need to stop. But does that mean that we're not accurately allowed to describe who people are? Weird. weird. I'm sorry. He is fucking MAGA. I don't care how many times he says that he is not. He is a fucking part of MAGA. So fuck it. All of the maggots are weird. So Pierce is weird as well.
Social media posts parroting Kamala Harris, saying that he was effectively an existential threat to democracy in America. You're doing the same. Does nothing make you pause?
You're insane.
Hillary Clinton's
You're
doing the
insane.
same.
Trump does it 2,000 times worse.
Because you think he does it,
your
you
great
should do
idea
it too.
is Democrats shouldn't campaign against your beloved Donald Trump because some moron, mentally unstable guy took a shot at him. Okay, or two of them did. You know what? I can protect Donald Trump. Ban assault weapons. That'll protect Donald Trump.
Here's the thing. The brilliant point that Cenk is bringing up, because he probably knows, or at least is somewhat kind of familiar with Pierce's stance on guns, and you look at the expression on Pierce's face, he has to shut up. He has to stop talking now. Because he knows that unless he wants to be seen on fucking national TV as one of the biggest fucking hypocrites alive, he has to shut up. Because he has railed against guns. He has railed. He was talking about gun control back when he was on fucking Good Morning Britain, that he has been fired from now for the last fucking 5 or 6 years. It's been a long time since he was on that show. It might not be actually 5 or 6 years. It might be a little bit more recent than that. But the point is, he has been railing against this for the better part of a decade, and he knows that he can't fucking say anything against what Cenk is saying here. He knows that he can't, and he doesn't like that he can't.
Way more than any of, say nice things about him now that some lunatic took some shots at him. Here, let me be super clear. If you're on the left, I know the right-wingers love their guns and Second Amendment remedy, and they've been riled up to do violence nonstop. But if you're on the left and you do any violence, you are not one of us. You're a stupid person who does nothing but make a worthy cause look immoral with your insanity. Never do violence. Is that clear enough?
Or maybe when they constantly hear on the airways people like you and Hillary Clinton and others constantly depicting Trump as an existential threat to democracy in America.
Piers, you're totally guilty. You're guilty. You're guilty. Because you support Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has done 2,000 times worse, and you know it. You won't even run it on this show.
Okay.
You won't even run it on this show because Donald Trump, what he says is so much worse than anything a Democrat has ever said about him. So you won't even run it on this show. So that's it. Are you telling Donald Trump, you better shut up? You better not say any of those gross things that you always say. You know that he joked about smashing Nancy Pelosi's husband's head in with a hammer.
Yeah, and the truth
One
is,
of his lunatic fans tried to murder Nancy Pelosi's husband, and he's like, it's so funny.
Here's the
problem.
problem.
You know that when they try to murder his vice president,
here's the problem,
he then turned around and said he deserved it.
He's the problem.
He's a psycho.
Here's
and you
the problem.
defend him every day, Piers.
Here's the problem. You have no...
no notes, right? Like that, everything that he just said is completely 100% factually true. You can go and Google it, you can go and look it up if you don't believe it. Everything he just said was completely and utterly factual. And Pierce has no fucking argument for it. Like he's like gonna waffle and he's gonna gish gallop and he's gonna fucking, try and offer some form of a defense for it, but there is no fucking defense for it because that's what happened. That's what he said.
No idea what I've said about Trump when he's done these things. If you had, you wouldn't accuse me of not talking about them because I always do.
Shut up?
Because I always do.
Are you telling him to shut up?
I want to bring in Candace Owens here. Candace, look, we're 48 hours after the latest assassination attempt, and I'm listening to another liberal who I respect. I've had Cenk on a lot on the show, absolutely losing his mind about how despicable Donald Trump is and what a threat he is and a danger and so on and so on. Exactly the kind of rhetoric that Trump has said he believes is fueling these people to try and kill him. What do you make of where we are with this?
What I make of all of this is that if you are going to legitimately tell people that someone is a monster, that somebody is a dictator, that somebody is literally Adolf Hitler, if you're going to tell people that this person is a constant threat, why wouldn't somebody try to eliminate that threat? That would actually be a sensible thing for somebody to do if they believe the rhetoric that is coming out of people's mouths. Now,
Then
if
all
this
of the
had
right
happened
wing
and
is
it was
guilty,
flipped,
including you, Candace.
Chank, you just
You're all
spoke for a
guilty.
very long
You've
time.
done
Candace finish,
10,000
please.
times worse than
Let
you know.
Candace
control
speak.
yourself.
Cenk.
Chank, you're going to have to learn how to control yourself. I know it's very difficult for you, but you just had a very long time to speak and we were quiet. I promise you can do that. You need to sit on your hands, then you should do that.
Like, here's the other thing, man. Like, and she's definitely coming up in an upcoming episode of this series. Yeah, Jesus fucking Christ. Dude, like, how fucking condescending is that, man? Like literally, how fucking condescending is that? Like, see, here's the thing. You either have to still play at this idea about trying to attract the other side over to your way of thinking, or you have to completely and utterly abandon that. And that's what I decided to do when I rebooted the channel. I am no longer trying to appeal to anybody who doesn't necessarily agree with me. I am stating my facts or my opinions as unapologetically and as uncensored and as on everything as you fucking like. And that's just it. Like, I have no will to try and appeal to the other crowd because they are just unreachable. They're insane. Their brains are mush. They're just they've a cinder block where their head is supposed to be. But Candace Owens constantly goes out there and is trying to appeal to the other side and is trying to get other people over. You doing that is stop. It is effectively erecting a wall between you and the person that you are trying to reach. By being that fucking condescending, you are not allowing somebody else. They are just going to be hyper focused on that, and they are going to be more inclined to not listen fully to what you have to say. You're just doing yourself, your own cause, your own whatever, a disservice, because that's not what you're doing.
As I was saying, if this situation had been reversed and I had just watched somebody try to shoot Kamala Harris, I would be definitively saying how wrong it was. I would be saying to people that despite the fact that I do not want her to be president, of course, she is not so much of a threat that she needs to be shot. They don't stop this rhetoric because they do not want these assassination attempts to stop on Donald Trump. And I want to be very clear. The circumstance that we find ourselves in the West is one of remarkable privilege. And when you're in times of remarkable privilege, it creates actually an issue of having a lot of weak men, right? Weak men are the ones that are going out here
like
proclaiming that Donald Trump is a threat, proclaiming that Donald Trump is somebody that is a dictator because they've never had real conflict in their lives. And you're about to see that example right now, the difference in the demeanor between someone like Cenk and Eric Prince, who I greatly respect, and who is somebody who has seen real conflict and understands what real threat is, right? He understands real threat. Cenk is somebody that grew up, obviously, with a silver spoon in his mouth. He's never had to fight for anything in his life and has never had to put his life before somebody else's. So it's very easy for him to behave like this, to demonstrate like a...
Cenk Uygur grew up in Turkey. He's a Turkish immigrant. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth? You fucking insane. Also, who do you plan on voting for? Who inherited how many hundreds of millions of dollars from his daddy so that he can fucking go out there and play at being a businessman whilst bankrupting fucking 3 casinos? Born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Jesus. I mean, the level of lack of self-awareness is astounding.
Like a toddler who is throwing his toys out of the pram when he doesn't get what he wants. And so he heightens his rhetoric and says, why am I not getting what I want? This man's a dictator. This man's a threat. And he's not being realistic. And it's embarrassing to our country, whether it was a person on the right or the left.
You guys haven't addressed it at all.
Cenk, I promise you are capable of
controlling
control.
He wants to terminate the Constitution, so you
3
like
minutes
that?
As somebody else speaks.
Let me bring in Eric. Eric, you are a former Navy SEAL.
Now, I did notice this when I first watched this back. Was almost like a cut there. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but there was definitely a little bit of a cut there. I don't really know what kind of happened there. Also, Spooky, massive shout out to you because you had just slightly corrected me there with a full fucking date as well. Jesus. The 9th of March 2021 is when Piers Morgan left ITV's GMB following a row over comments. Yeah, no, he got his fucking feelings hurt. He got triggered and he left. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, right. Thank you. It did definitely look like it was a little bit of a cut. I don't know what was said there or what, like... Anyway, but, yeah. Jesus, time fucking flies. That was only 3 years ago. It seems like a much longer time. But anyway. There Candace goes again with the fucking condescension, man. If you're trying to appeal, you can't be condescending when you were trying to appeal to the other side. It's why I was doing it. I was not being condescending. I was trying to kind of get people over to my side of thinking, but I've stopped doing that now because what's the fucking point?
And a very patient former Navy SEAL, yes. When I look at what's happened here, there are lots of strands to what's going on. And we'll come to the security aspect around Trump, which I find pretty scary, actually, that twice people have, with extraordinary ease, got into positions to assassinate him in the space of 8 weeks, which I just find quite remarkable and shocking and shameful, and a disgrace that the Secret Service has allowed that to happen. But before we get to that, this whole...
They saved his...
I mean, yeah, look, I had literally caught it just as Cenk was going to say, not what I was going to say, but the Secret Service did not allow this to happen. You can maybe get me to say there was definitely something kind of fishy with the first attempt. Maybe get me to say that. Secret Service did did a remarkable job of finding the second shooter and of preventing an actual second attempt, because the first guy actually shot at him, the second guy didn't. So it wasn't like an actual... Look, if things had played out a little bit differently, if the Secret Service agent hadn't noticed him, yes, I am not stupid. I am not saying that it wouldn't have been an actual second attempt, but the second guy never actually even got any fucking shots off. I don't think. I'm a little bit hazy on some of the kind of minor details of the story, but I don't actually think he got a shot off. I think the Secret Service agent shot at him, but he didn't actually get any shots off himself. Anyway, but yeah. So I mean, here's like, do you want these guys to be like prophetic? Do you want them to fucking jump forward in time to be able to see that this was going to happen? The Secret Service did their job. Like, what more do you want them to do?
His life.
Yeah, well, they didn't save his life. They put him in a position where his life nearly got taken. And
I'm sorry, Donald Trump is dead? But, fuck, Jesus, let me just quickly fucking go... No, they did save his life. What the fuck is he talking about?
that's the truth. I mean, because they didn't even check
the
the
guy didn't even get off a shot.
They didn't
and you're
even
still
check.
spreading conspiracy theories.
Even check the perimeter of the golf course before he was exposed for 4 hours on that course 8 weeks after he was shot. It is unbelievable that anyone from the Secret Service would claim anything but a dismal failure of their preparation to protect the president, in my opinion. But we'll come to that. Eric, what do you make of this debate, which is raging right now, in this debate now, about the rhetoric and the responsibility of people who are on the airwaves, who are in public life, to dial down the rhetoric?
Look, like the video clip you opened with, there's an enormous amount of apocalyptic language spoken by the left. Call it saying he must be eliminated, he is Hitler, and that unleashes every left-wing crazy to authenticate themselves by saying, I'm going to be the...
Listen, there is very, 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 very few people on the left who say that Trump is Hitler. I mean, they will say that he is like Hitler, that he has said certain things that would echo or that would be very, very, or is just a rewording of some things that Hitler has said. I mean, one example of that is that Trump, as early as March, as 6 months ago, when talking about immigrants coming into the country, he refused to call them human beings and insisted on calling them animals. That's pretty fucking Hitler-like. I'm sorry, am I not see, this is the thing. In Pierce's ideal world, apparently, we're not supposed to say that. We're not supposed to talk about that. We're not supposed to even mention that. No, this is ridiculous. This is a man who was running for arguably, very, very easily arguably, the highest position of power on earth. President of the United States has such unbelievable fucking power, not just in his own country, but around, but like globally. So the influence that the US has in foreign and domestically is unbelievable. It is matched by extremely few other world leaders. So the idea that you have somebody running for that position who has said things that are Hitler-esque or that are or rewordings, rephrasings, whatever. I'm sorry, it's almost like it's bordering on a civic duty to point that out. You have to say that.
Hero, this guy, this Ruth guy on Sunday, who was there for 12 hours stalking Donald Trump with a high-powered rifle with a scope, with ballistic plates up against the fence. And what did he have up there? A GoPro. Why? He was trophy hunting. He wanted to be the savior of the left, to say, I'm the one that killed Donald J. Trump. Trophy hunting, saying, for people like you, responding to words that you're putting out there. Why else would he?
Just very, very quickly, I don't actually necessarily disagree with the last part of what he just said there. Yeah, that probably is what he was doing. He was most likely going to either live stream it or take a video and upload and have it set to auto upload or something like that. He probably was. But the point is that the Secret Service stopped him. This is not a conspiracy theory. The Secret Service did their job. They did it extremely well. They stopped that from happening. That is what happened.
Do you have a GoPro?
No, he wanted to get famous. You're totally right about that, Eric. And I hate that. But the way that this whole thing has been framed, as if the right wing doesn't do rhetoric that is 10,000 times more dangerous and violent over and over again. Trump's fans sent pipe bombs to every one of his enemies. Trump fans hit Nancy Pelosi's husband in the head with a hammer, and Trump never even denounced it. How sick is that? That he never even denounced it. He laughs about it. So if we were using the Trump standard, we'd laugh about him getting shot at. But I'm not as disgusting as Donald Trump is.
Nancy Pelosi's husband had an interlude with some bizarre gay lover. Trust me,
he wasn't on the right.
Oh my God, I'm on here with lunatics.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Appealed to the other side. Appeal to the other side. I'm supposed to try and get somebody who is on the right, who is a maggot, to come over to the left. I'm supposed to appeal to the other side. I'm supposed to get this guy on my side. Impossible. A baseless, completely just false, made up rumor. Fucking just that was fucking debunked as quick as it was put out there. And he's saying it on this, and I guarantee you, here's the other thing, Pierce is not going to say a fucking word against it. He's not going to say a word against it.
I'm on here with lunatics and
he
conspiracy
wasn't on the
theorists.
right.
I can't believe he just said that. And you're saying that the guy who smashed Paul Pelosi's head in wasn't on the right? Is that what Candace Owens, the lunatic, just said?
Right. Okay, just so you know, if you're going to call somebody else a lunatic, you shouldn't be behaving like one in the process.
When you say, Cheng, when you say these right-wingers are all nuts, do you understand the irony, given you just spent the last 10 minutes literally ranting?
Yeah. Yeah, I do, Piers. So I am loud and aggressive because that's what the Democrats and the left wing need to stand up to lunatic bullies like this. Candace Owens just said that the attacker of Paul Pelosi was not a right winger when he is a Donald Trump fan and a deep right winger. And Eric Prince, the lunatic, had said that he was a gay lover of Paul Pelosi. A conspiracy theory so unhinged that how am I supposed to respond to it? You can't have a rational discussion with people who don't believe in facts and logic. Piers, are you agreeing with these two lunatics that he was not a right winger
You should have a little
and that
bit
he was
more
some sort of
respect
gay
than
lover
to
of Paul
refer to
Pelosi?
Eric Prince as a lunatic. He served our country. You should have a little more respect and decency.
Yeah, no,
as
he's a
human being,
mercenary and a disgusting guy, by the way. How many people did you get killed? Innocent people in Iraq, Eric. How many people did you have?
Okay, so there's a little bit of contention with this. I don't specifically disagree with what Trump what Cenk is saying here. I don't necessarily I don't wish he hadn't said it. However, I will just say optically he doesn't look good here. I agree with the message that he said. I do not have a single issue with anything that he specifically said. I just think that optically, that's not a good look.
Mowed down in Iraq, Eric.
Going back to your topic, Pierce, perhaps it's time to bring back 19th century behavior, which maybe we had a more civil society then. If people are going to throw all kinds of bombastic language, they do so because they do it without consequence. In the 19th century in the UK, people would call them out for a duel. It doesn't have to be to the death. It could be swords. It could be bugle sticks. Maybe that would make for a more polite society. I don't know. I'm ready to go there.
You see that? Piers, you see that? Who's the first to threaten violence? Of course, Eric from the right wing.
Yeah, but,
Whereas
okay,
I
but
denounce
Cenk,
violence.
Cenk.
I denounce it strongly and loudly, and you heard it with your own ears.
But Cenk, what I don't think you appreciate is how ranting, incendiary rhetoric of the kind you've unleashed so far in this debate yourself can, with an impressionable, unhinged person.
This is here's another point that I have against him. Pierce is not willing to give Cenk even just the slightest, barely a win. Because that is true. Cenk, from the very, very moment that he was on it, said that there is no place for violence. He hates the person now both times that have tried to assassinate Trump. He has said that he denounces violence very, very strongly. He said that you are stupid. You are not one of us. And so far, one of the right-wing guests have loudly and proudly and just said, maybe we should do fucking violence, a duel. Maybe not to the death. All right, okay, but lightly stabbed. And he is not willing to say that Cenk so far has not given any rhetoric that would be an incitement to violence, and yet that the right-wing guests have. He is not willing to say that. And I mean, it's just what happened. It's not open for interpretation. It's not open to opinion. It's not open to kind of my side versus your side. That's what just happened. I mean, as a journalist, which is what he is, he still writes for a fucking major publication. He has this show. He is such a piss poor journalist. It is unbelievable.
Who believes everything you're saying about Trump. As Candace said, why wouldn't that person think to themselves, yeah, we've got to get rid of him. We've got to stop him.
Okay.
So my question for you is, if you can't even dial it down within 48 hours of a second assassination attempt on Trump's life, when can you?
So, Piers, now let's have an intelligent conversation. Hold on. About where are the lines? Where are the lines? So, he asked me a question. Where are the lines? So, when Trump says these incendiary things that encourage violence, including laughing at smashing the head in of a political opponent's husband, that's what? Is that fine? Or he's bad too.
Well, is it
How long
fine?
does he have to pause
Is it
saying
fine?
violent things?
Listen, I've criticised Trump for lots of his incendiary language over the years, but as far as I
so how long does
But he's not willing to do it right now. He's not willing to say Trump was wrong when he said that. When he laughed and joked about somebody, a lunatic, going in and smashing someone's head in with a hammer. He's not willing to say it now. Yeah, he was wrong about that. Move on. It would take it would take a second and a half to say, yeah, no, he was wrong to laugh and joke about that. Move on to what you were going to say anyway. So he says, and quite possibly has even denounced Trump for what he has said, but he's not willing to do it now when it fucking matters.
should he
hang
stop?
on. So far as I know, he's never called one of his opponents Adolf Hitler. And yet the left constantly.
Yeah, he did.
Constantly.
He just called, I don't know about Hitler, but first of all,
Constantly.
but Piers,
the
you
left,
make it
but
look
Cenk,
like
here's my point. If the left constantly say, as they do, he's the new Hitler, who, by the way, murdered 12 million people with his Nazis, including 6.
Name a fucking politician. Name one. Name one person. Name one serious high-ranking politician in either Congress or the Senate or someone like that. Someone who has like an actual audience, who is in this position, who is on the left, who has called him Hitler. I'll wait.
6 million Jews and a Holocaust. If you keep saying that often enough, as the left do in America, eventually an unhinged mind is going to think, I've got to stop the new Hitler. That's my point.
So first of all, I've never called him Hitler, but I love Sandra Day O'Connor's quote about, it was about Bush and Cheney at the time, about fascism. She said, we've got to be careful of these beginnings so that we don't get those endings. So what I'm worried about is a guy who says that he loves dictators and writes love letters to them, and that he loves it when everybody has to stand up and applaud and no one can disagree with the leader of the country. He loves it. He thought we should terminate the Constitution. When they said to him, hey, they're trying to murder, your fans are trying to murder your own vice president, he told Mark Meadows, his chief of staff, he deserves it. I have to tell people the reality about Donald.
There was another thing. There was another cut there. This is a very long video. This video is an hour long. We're not going to be going over the whole thing. We're going to be going up right up until there's a moment where Cenk's video feed cuts out and he dips out of the call. We'll be going up till there, which is coming up. It's about halfway into it. But just if you're doing this long of a video, why are you putting in fucking cuts, man? Like, it's really weird. Like, I want to know what was said.
Donald Trump. So, Piers, what do you want me to do?
That
Take
is
a
not the
48-hour
reality.
break, a 72-hour break? Or maybe do you want me to take a month and a half of a break of criticizing Donald Trump
Well, you know,
so
it was
he can win the
interesting.
election?
It was interesting watching
Cenk, you're
watching
such a
CNN
radical.
yesterday,
You are
my old
such a
network, for
radical.
example, where CNN finally conceded on air that actually when Kamala Harris repeated this trope about Trump, that he called for they said there would be a bloodbath if he lost the election. Everyone knows that's untrue. That's not what he said. He talked about a bloodbath in the automobile industry. CNN finally admitted that on air, but Kamala Harris repeated that in a way that implied he said there would be a literal bloodbath. So when it comes to rhetoric, yes, Donald Trump has a lot of incendiary things that come out of his mouth, and I wish he didn't. But so does the left, Cenk. And your utter refusal to accept that anyone
I'm
on
not
the left
refusing it.
can be
Piers,
even
let me be
remotely
clear.
responsible for creating an atmosphere where two people now tried to kill Trump, I think is very disingenuous.
No, Piers, let me be clear. So, number one, on the bloodbath comment, on the day of and ever since, we played the whole clip on the Young Turks and told everybody he did not mean violence. He talked about an economic bloodbath.
So why did Kamala Harris
we were
pretend
honest
that he
about
did?
it. We've never called him Hitler. And so, but Piers, I can't sit here and not tell you that he didn't try to end our democracy, because he did. So I'm asking you now
No,
for
he
like the
didn't.
fourth time.
You
What
can't
do you
just
want
say
me to
something
do?
that
I'm going
isn't true.
to get the other two to respond to this, but I just want to bring in just very quickly the Republican Congressman Corey Mills. Corey Mills, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Okay, so Corey Mills doesn't really say too much, so we are going to be skipping over this. Whoever does the fucking chapters on this is not very good at their job, because that is the entire thing, but Corey Mills is long since gone. So we're gonna be there, about there. Um, yeah, it's not pertinent to what we're doing, and I mean, like yeah.
Yeah, I do genuinely feel very apprehensive about what is happening and what may happen. And I dread to think what would happen in America if somebody did actually assassinate Donald Trump, as they are repeatedly trying to do.
Yes, I mean, I was completely underwhelmed by the immediate reactions, even from Kamala Harris, just that simple tweet, and violence has no place, which felt like it was copy and pasted from a PR firm. There was no shock. There was no, this is absolutely wrong. There was no expressment of true frustration and disappointment, or even the recognition that that could be her, right? Like if you're trying to be a person that wants to be the president of the United States, this could potentially be you one day. So you should be outraged. I didn't sense that outrage from her. And rather what you have correctly attested.
I mean, like, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, like, whether you sense the fucking outrage or not, it's so just not relevant, man. Nobody fucking cares whether you sensed the outrage in it or not. The point is that she called it out, she denounced it, she said there's no place for this, whatever else. I mean, like, what more do you want, man? I mean, like, do you want her to do a fucking video? Do you want her to write a fucking essay about, like, it's just, like, man, fucking standards that these people want, but they don't fucking do themselves. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, it is so insufferable.
Test to is they just kept going on with the rhetoric the very next day, which to me is signaling to their followers that this is okay. We're getting closer and we're getting closer, and we are fine with this. We're not going to turn down the rhetoric because you guys are responding correctly. One of the things that's really frustrating, I think, for a lot of people is to watch the way the media is constantly allowed to detach themselves from the consequences of what they say, which is to say that somebody shoots up and tries to shoot a president, and the media is like, well, I was just calling him Hitler, but I never said to anyone that they should go shoot someone. And like I said earlier, what do you expect an individual to do when you are saying Adolf Hitler is taking the stage? When you are saying that we are going to completely lose democracy, which is so far from reality. It's embarrassing for Cenk to say that, because we don't have to imagine Trump as president. He already was for 4 years. People were living very well. The economy was doing very well. And so this rhetoric may have made sense in 2016. It doesn't make sense now in 2024. And so it's frustrating to see that. And I think what is good, though, is to allow people around the world to get this insight into what's happening in America, because you hear the left constantly purporting to be the side of peace, right? And then you watch someone like Cenk, right? And then you listen to people that are on the right, the awful people on the right. You listen to Eric Prince, you listen to me, and you're able to really comprehend who are the radicals in American society, because you can scream peace, you can.
Oh yeah, because she wouldn't be biased at all. Look, I mean, like, this is the thing, and it's not just her, it's not just on this show or anything else like that, like, but like, there are, how many examples of are there of people who are on the likes of like CNN, MSNBC, and so on, and they have a right-wing guest on, and they're like, oh, so who would you like to be president? Who do you think the left should have nominated? Why the fuck are we asking you? Why on earth are you asking? What? All right, okay, so ask me who the fucking Republicans should nominate. Bernie Sanders. Put Bernie Sanders up. Really? You going to take that fucking seriously? Are you going to listen to who I think should be the fucking Republican nominee for president and take that seriously? No. So why on earth would I take you seriously when you when you fucking say, "Oh, I think it should be this person," or "I think it should be fucking Biden still because he's going to lose to Trump"? Like, why on earth would we take you seriously? And yeah, no. You want to know who the fucking radicals are? Yeah, Candace Owens is going to fucking tell you. All of them are in your fucking party. All of them. All of them. All of them who want to radically change the foundation and the like how the US has been running and the foundation of the country. Like, we're like talking about radical change, but for in a complete and utter wrong direction. I'm not necessarily against radical change, especially not in the US. I've already talked about guns. I'm a fucking socialist. So I think that there needs to be radical change there. But I mean, you want to talk about the radical change that Trump is wanting to enact, that like Trump is wanting to fucking bring forward. I mean, it's fucking night and day. It's unbelievable what he is trying to do. And also, they have said that he didn't try and overturn democracy. Were you not there on January 6th? Did you not watch the news on January 6th? Were you living under a rock for the best part of fucking 6 months? Because that's how long people were fucking talking about it. Insane.
Scream, oh, love is love all day. But you hear their rhetoric within 24 hours after a former president was almost shot, and they never dial it down. I mean, these people want and encourage violence all the time.
You see, Cheng, here's the problem. If this was Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, who had 2 attempts on their life in 8 weeks, the idea that you would not, if anyone on the Republican side used the kind of enraged, ranting rhetoric you've deployed in this debate today within 24 hours of it happening, that you would go completely nuts at the Republicans for doing that. Okay. So my thing for you is you seem to think that the justification for all your rhetoric is that, well, Donald Trump does it. And that's kind of like the old school playground thing. Well, they did that, so I can do it. Where's your own moral line? Where's your line that says we're going to be better than that? If you genuinely believe that is wrong, that incendiary rhetoric is wrong, why do you deploy it?
So, Piers, no. The framing of this entire conversation is insane. So if somebody was just watching this conversation, they would think that I ordered an attack on the Capitol or that the left wing did. No, Donald Trump had a violent mob attack our Capitol, and then you make it seem like the left has the violence problem. And then I strongly and very loudly condemned any violence. Shooting at Donald Trump is the worst thing in the world. I can't be any clearer about it.
But you don't
any
condemn,
assassination attempt, any violence, any physicality.
Yeah,
Hold on.
You don't condemn any of the incendiary rhetoric.
Let me finish.
See, this is the other thing, man. It's like what Pierce had him on here, and he's talked about this several times. That like, oh, you know, you've done incitements to violence, blah 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 blah. When Cenk is on here and he's saying, no, I haven't. I have strongly condemned it. He won't even let him finish the fucking point. So Pierce's attack is, you guys are violent. You're incenting to violence. You want the violence. You're not here, like, if it was anybody else, you'd be fucking outraged, yada, 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 yada. But yet when Cenk is doing exactly what Pierce doesn't want him to do, now there's an issue. Now he has to fucking call him out. And now he has to be like, oh, how dare you fucking... Pathetic. It's pathetic.
My point, I condemn it as forcefully as I possibly can. And then what do the two right-wingers do? Neither one of them condemned the attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband. Instead, they came up with crazy conspiracy theories. And what does that do? It encourages their fans to go, oh, yeah, well, it's not a big deal to attack our political opponents. It's not a big deal to attack the Capitol. It's not a big deal to send pipe bombs to Donald Trump's political opponents. So they encourage this kind of violence 24/7, and on January 6th, we saw it in spectacular fashion. And then you're trying to reframe the debate as criticism of Donald Trump, legitimate political criticism of Donald Trump, is somehow the thing that's causing political violence in this country. No, it is 98% right-wing political violence. The 2% where it's the left wing, I hate it, I despise it, I condemn it. I can't be any clearer than that.
And yet, Cenk, the only attempts on candidates' lives have both been against the same guy, who's the Republican nominee.
So look, there are lunatics in this world.
Would it be like, what does he want him to say? What does he want him to say? Genuinely, is Pierce going to do a fucking Elon Musk and say, it's a fucking shame that nobody's tried to assassinate Kamala? Or it's a shame that nobody has tried to assassinate Biden? What's he looking for? What does he want here? Like, that's my fucking question, man. Literally, what do you want him to do? The first guy we knew was a Republican. We knew he was registered, but he voted for Trump. The second guy was a fucking lunatic. Absolute lunatic. He was all over the fucking shop on who he was endorsing, on who he was voting for, on just all of it. He was a lunatic. And even though he was all over the shop on who he was wanting to vote for, the overwhelming majority of them were Republicans. So are we to classify him as a Republican, as an independent? But like the point is, he was not on the fucking left. So I mean, like this is why it's so fucking frustrating. Like oh.
World. So those two guys are total lunatics. The first guy wasn't even a left-winger. This guy is totally unhinged from reality, voted for Trump in 2016. But it isn't about him being right-wing or left-wing. The point is that these guys are unhinged. So I don't want anyone taking shots at Democrats, Republicans,
no, but you're not
or
prepared
Donald Trump
to change
or
the way
anyone.
you speak about Trump,
but Piers,
which
you've
he
never
believes
answered my
is
question.
feeding
You've
and
never
fueling
answered my
it.
question. So do you want me to do a unilateral political surrender for the rest of the election because some lunatic took a shot at Trump?
No, but you know what? You could take a little bit longer than 24 hours perhaps to consider whether the language from the left may have contributed to these attacks. Let me bring Eric in, who's been again waiting patiently. I mean, Eric, it seems to me America is in a dangerous place right now. Yeah, this is not a game. You've experienced actual warfare, and we're now seeing people taking weapons of war to rallies, to golf courses, to try and settle their differences with people by shooting them. And in this case, it's Donald Trump that they want to kill. This is not a good place.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Bring in the guy who not even 20 fucking minutes ago said that they should bring back fucking dueling. Absolutely. Bring him in on see what he wants to fucking say about this particular fucking issue.
If your point of this panel was to explore the spectrum of political rhetoric, I think your guest in the middle box, Reps ipso loquitur, the thing speaks for itself. To call the January 6th such an insurrection, it would be the first insurrection in human history where people showed up unarmed. And if people are feeling nervous about the survival of their constitution,
they may have been unarmed in the sense that they didn't have any guns with them, or they didn't have any kind of a lot of them didn't have any like weapons or anything else like that. However, they showed up with zip ties wanting to take hostage people of Congress. They showed up with a very kind of immaculately built fucking like little kind of wooden platform with a noose hanging out of it whilst they chanted "Hang Mike Pence." But no, completely non-violent. Completely non-violent. This guy's a fucking lunatic.
About their vote, people show up to a lot of rallies, and they should certainly be able to show up and not expect to see attacks. There was just another guy. There was an explosive found at a rally in New York today.
Well, I'll stop you there on that, actually, Eric, because that's now been discounted. They've actually said there were no explosives found. So since we've started this, that's been now discounted.
Good, but twice in 8 weeks, with 6 weeks left to go in the election, I really hope it's the last we've seen of political violence, because it certainly has no place for the republic to survive.
Let me bring back Candice. I want to just talk about Kamala Harris for a bit and the politics of all this, because there's no doubt she's had a little bit of a bounce now from, taking over from Biden, from the DNC, from the debate win, where I think she won that debate with Trump by sort of feeding his narcissistic streak when he fell for it. But at the same time, she's giving.
Did you see the look on Candace's face? She did not like that, because she does not. I guarantee you, she does not agree. I guarantee you, she thinks that Trump won. Look, the look on her face when Pierce said that Kamala won the debate. She did not like that.
Giving very few interviews, and the latest one she gave, we're going to show a little bit of it now, to me was just a load of incomprehensible word salad nothingness. Let's take a look.
Yes, this bit. I remember
Far
this bit.
too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Women and children. We have seen with horror the images coming out of Gaza. And we have to take that seriously. And we have to agree that not only must we end this war, but we have to have a goal of a two-state solution, because there must be stability and peace in that region, inasmuch as what we do in our goal is to ensure that Israelis have security and Palestinians in equal measure have security, have self-determination and dignity.
You see,
I'm sorry. Okay. Apart from my own personal disagreements with Kamala, with her opinions and thoughts and what she wants to do with the situation that is happening in Israel and Palestine, just if I can just divorce that just for 2 moments, what in the name of fuck was wrong with that response? What was wrong with it? That was not incoherent rambling. That was not nonsense. That was not a non-answer. She said that she wants a two-state solution. Is that going to happen? No, because Benjamin Netanyahu is a murderous fucking lunatic who just wants Palestine just wiped off the fucking map. He will not fucking stop. So I mean, like, that's just not going to happen. But the notion that was incoherent rambling is just not true. It's just not true. But again, this guy, Pierce, he will call himself, he will say that he is center or that he is left of center or something like that he is not a right winger. And every single attack that he has done on a presidential candidate since the early months of this year, since March or April, has been against the left, starting with Biden and now against Kamala. He has not opened with an introduction to this to this format of a segment with an attack against Trump. Not once, and it's just lunacy to me. I mean, like, you are lying to your audience. You are lying to your audience, and they are either too stupid to realize that you are lying, or they don't care because they themselves are right-wingers and they love it when you attack the left. Those are the only two options. If there is anybody who watches Piers Morgan who genuinely believes that he is on the left, I am sorry. I have neither the time nor the crayons to explain to you how much you are wrong.
Candace, and there was another one at the weekend where she was talking about the economy and saying that, you know, she grew up with people who were proud of their lawns and all this kind of thing. And in the debate, when she was challenged specifically about any policy stuff, doesn't really say anything. You know, she didn't say anything there about this Israel-Hamas war, which is going to have any meaningful difference to what happens. It's all this kind of, as she would put it, her desire for joy, for everyone to get along, everyone to be peaceful and happy, and everyone to be prosperous. Well, we all want that. But the more she talks about these things, the less impressed I am by what comes out of her mouth. What do you make of Kamala?
I genuinely believe, I've talked about this on a previous stream, I genuinely believe that he is one of these unbelievable fucking morons that has not taken the time to just a simple Google search to find out what the powers of the vice president is. So John Adams, one of the founding fathers, said that the vice president was a ceremonial role. The job or the responsibilities of the vice president is to do what the president tells them to do, is to go and maybe kind of shake a few hands and fucking, you know, give out a few hugs at a meeting or a summit or a something like that, and is to be she is over the Senate. She can cast the tie-breaking vote in the Senate, of which she has done a record number of times, by the way. And she is there that, you know, if and when Joe Biden fucking finally croaks before the end of his term, that she is there to step up and to take over the presidency. That is what she is there for. Nothing else. But I guarantee you, That Pierce is so fucking is that fucking stupid that he thinks that she can do the what she is talking about now, her policies now. I am very glad that you have joined us, Math Pig. However, I started an hour ago. I sent out a tweet. I tagged you in it. You have no excuse.
Harris, the candidate.
You know, I truly think that the reason that they staged an effective coup on Joe Biden was simply because obviously he had been in such mental decline that they couldn't hide it anymore. And they at least needed a candidate that could remember the lines. And going into the debate, and obviously we're still waiting for more to come out, but we do have that ABC whistleblower who said that she was given the questions ahead of time, which would mean that she was given the time frame to remember the answers. And she's good for that. Like, she can remember the answers and as if she's performing a high school play. And that's exactly what she did. But when it comes down to it, the reason why she is giving such few interviews far in between is because she is not actually able to give comprehensive answers. She doesn't actually know what her policies are, which is why she flip-flops often on what her policies are. Her policies are essentially whatever she's told to say. On the issue of Israel and Palestine, it is a vulnerable area for her. She does not want to lose the Muslim vote in America, so she's trying to just say things that sound nice, present a bunch of niceties and sound kind, essentially going, we only have a few weeks to the election. As long as I sound like I want there to be peace, we won't lose the Muslim vote and people that are passionate about this hot button issue.
Oh, very
so
passionate.
to me, I see her as little more than an actress, somebody that is more effective than obviously Joe Biden, who couldn't do that anymore for them. But everything that you're seeing with her is performative. And I am happy that there are groups that recognize that now, like particularly Black men do not seem to be falling for this whatsoever. And people are calling into question why it is that she keeps flip-flopping on so many of her policies. I don't think there's much going on upstairs with her. And she's especially weak when it comes to speaking about economics, and you can see that. You even saw that during the debate.
Yeah.
Okay, wow, that was a lot of fucking rambling for not very much said. Okay, let's start at the very beginning. So the ABC whistleblower. It is unbelievably easy to prep for a presidential debate. What the fuck do you think they're going to be talking about? The prices of Twixes nowadays? No, they're going to be talking about abortion. They're going to be talking about the economy. They're going to be talking about inflation. They're going to be talking about the other candidates' record. That's what they're going to be talking about. That's what they're going to be. I mean, this is not a fucking SAT where there's going to be kind of like minutia or like ludicrously fucking specific questions on minute fucking topics that are going to be discussed at a presidential debate. It is unbelievably easy to prep for like a predicted set of questions that are going to come up at like, it is the only reason that you were saying this. And by the way, unilaterally, everybody agreed that Trump won the last debate against Biden. Everybody agrees with that. Everybody. There is not a single serious person with an IQ above 4 who thinks that Biden won the last debate. Nobody seriously. Genuinely room temp IQ if you believe that Biden won that last debate. Is there anybody who is saying that fucking CNN, what they think of fucking CNN, was going to be feeding Biden the questions beforehand? No, it's just ludicrously fucking easy to prep for this shit. Nobody was saying this. What? So, do you think that CNN fed Trump the questions ahead of time? No, it's just ludicrously easy to fucking prep for it. And Kamala, she did an outstanding job at that debate. It is the reason why he is running afraid from a second debate, and she is only saying this now because her darling Trump fucking lost in spectacular fashion the previous debate. That is the only reason why she is doing this ludicrous conspiracy theory that there was a whistleblower who fed her the questions ahead of time. I could have told you the day before the fucking debate happened, this is what fucking questions is likely to pop up. Am I a fucking whistleblower now? Am I in on this shit? A fucking guy from fucking Ireland who has who can't even cast a fucking vote in that country? It's just so fucking easy to predict what questions are going to pop up. And also, she's now saying that there's not much going on in there. She is a fucking qualified lawyer. She was district attorney. She was fucking she was AG. She is now the vice president. She is literally the most qualified candidate that has ever ran for president in the last 30 to 40 years. But no, there's not much going on. Look, I have my disagreements with Kamala. I wish that she was further left on certain issues. I wish that she had different opinions on certain topics. But I can in no way, shape, or form going to say that she's stupid. Oh, okay. Just to catch up on some comments that have flown in there. Biden before this debate, you just did a Trump. Yeah. You can't tell me why your light sign isn't working. Go back to potato. What? Oh, my light sign. Yeah, man. That listen. I don't know what fucking like third world fucking batteries that came with that, but I mean it literally worked for one stream and then just never since then. So that's just really, really weird. Stuhl says that he was given all of the answers to this stream in advance. Ask me about electronic sharks and windmill cancer. Yeah, absolutely. Just the notion that you can be fed questions about a presidential debate ahead of time and that somehow gives you an advantage. I'm sorry, it goes back to one of the oldest fucking sayings in the book. Fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Trump clearly did not prepare for that debate. Because if he had, he would have had a better fucking performance. I just think genuinely that he seriously underestimated Kamala, and that it was. And remember, I wanted this here. Yeah, I just think that he seriously underestimated Kamala and thought that she was going to do like a piss poor job, as he kept fucking saying in the debate. I mean, I genuinely think that he misses Biden because he knew he was going to win if he was running against Biden, but. That notion is just so unbelievably stupid to me. This is not difficult, guys. There is a couple of like really, really like key topics that voters or potential voters care about. And those are the questions that are going to be asked at a presidential debate. It is the easiest thing in the world to predict what is going to come up. It is up to you then, even as to give her the tiniest little bit of fucking leniency, to prepare, to memorize what you're going to say. That's just called being prepared. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Cenk, I understand you don't want Trump to win, so obviously you're going to want the other side to win. But you cannot be impressed by what Kamala Harris actually says when she gets around to talking about policy. It's a lot of hot air, isn't it?
Yeah, so mostly yes. Okay, but let me be clear about a couple of things. So I'm honest. So that answer on Israel is terrible. That's basically her saying, I'll do everything Israel tells me to do. And by the way, she's taken over $5 million from AIPAC. Biden's taken over $11 million from AIPAC. Also, Republican Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, his top donor is AIPAC. So anything that comes out of Republican or Democratic mouths on Israel is just paid for. Donald Trump, his top donor is Miriam Adelson, and is reporting in Israel that he might let Israel annex the West Bank in order to please his donor. So our politics is totally, utterly corrupt. On policy, I like some of the economic populist things that she put out there. I like some of it a lot, actually. The problem with Democrats is that they don't often deliver. This is stuff that they do for campaigning. Then they deliver about 5 to 10% of it. And then the press bullies you into saying that it was miraculous, historic achievements. The problem with the Republicans is they go 100% in the wrong direction. And here I was getting all ready to agree with the panel overall because I don't like that answer by Kamala Harris. But here comes Candace Owens to make up another conspiracy theory about an ABC whistleblower, which is hilarious and ridiculous. It's been debunked thoroughly. It's just a rando.
Well, has it been? Well, hang on. Has it been debunked thoroughly? Because I've been watching.
Yes.
Well, hang on. I've been watching ABC's responses, and I don't call that a thorough debunking at all. It looks to me like they're being very careful with the way they're wording stuff. And Bill Ackman's been on this, who's no fool. He's been doing a lot of...
yeah. Bill Ackman. Fucking notable, massive fucking right-winger, massive Trump supporter. And all that he has done, if you don't know who Bill Ackman is. I am unfortunate enough to know who he is because of some Discord servers and some people that I hung around with and used to fucking talk with and everything else. Bill Ackman buys and sells stocks. That's it. That's all he does. That's all he does. He buys and sells stocks, and he's a Trump supporter. No fucking wonder. Listen, I could not care. See, like this is exactly it goes back to what I said earlier, man. Why on earth are we taking seriously the opinions of people who are fundamentally against, like, the person that they're talking about? So they like want to have this like fucking scandal against Kamala, and so you're going to have people who are fundamentally against her, who don't like her, who have never liked her, who don't want her to be president, who are going to go out there and affirm the conspiracy theory. Again, it is the easiest thing in the world to prep for. This is lunacy, and I mean, Pierce should know this, man. He should know this. He should know all of these things. It is so unbelievably painful to listen to somebody who should be smarter than this. I mean, like, he's not an American journalist. He's an English journalist. He comes from a higher standard of journalism than anybody like almost anybody in the US would or does. Like, so like he should be able to fucking smell a rat. He should be able to smell bias. He should be able to sniff this shit out and identify it as an unreliable source. But no, he's not, because he wants Trump to win. Pierce is a right winger. It is the only answer that makes sense.
Of tweeting about this, saying there's something weird about this. This affidavit was apparently signed two days before the debate and so on. Now, it may turn out to be a load of baloney, but the response by ABC and Disney so far, Cenk, has not been very commanding.
So, Pierce, here we go again. You know who outed Donna Brazil for actually leaking questions to a Democrat, Hillary Clinton? Young Turks did. We found it in WikiLeaks, and when we originally exposed it...
So why would you be surprised if it happened again?
Right. So mainstream media said, oh, you guys are crazy, you guys are kooks. No, we proved it. You know what the difference between that story and this story is? We had evidence. There's no evidence here at all. It reminds me of Rush Limbaugh when he would say to his listeners, I have a fax. I have a fax here. Anybody can send you a fax, brother. Anybody can put up a fake document online. You have to show that the guy was actually from ABC.
Well, this is not a conspiracy theory. Cenk hasn't just...
Okay, so that's where I said that I was going to kind of cut off the video and just kind of give my kind of final thoughts. Oh, okay. Jesus Christ. Piers Morgan is a right winger. He just needs to kind of just come out and admit that he is a right winger. He needs to come out and admit that he wants Donald Trump to be president. I would take him 10 times more seriously if he came out and said that, because at least in that instance, he would be being honest. He would be telling us what he actually thinks. Because I'm sorry, he is lying. He has to be lying. He just has to be. There is no world in which it makes sense at all. At all. That he, isn't a right winger. Because if he was even remotely left, then he would be maybe not encouraging, but he would be far more sympathetic and he would be far more defensive of Kamala Harris and far more, attacking Trump. Now, look, maybe it's just his own kind of personal set of morals that he wouldn't have continued with the attacks against Trump more, for a couple of days after an assassination attempt. Maybe that is the case. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. But the idea that this man is not right wing, I mean, it's just false. It's just false. He has to be right wing. All of the opinions that he has, all of the characterizations, all of the opinions that he has are right wing. And Mathpig has just said a staged assassination. The second one, I'm kind of. The first one, I had a little bit of conspiracy brain around. Was it staged? Was it not? I don't know. I don't know if it was staged. I don't know, obviously, if any of them have been staged. I will admit that there is a little bit of kind of suspect around one or both. But the idea is, you know, when you kind of get into, well, was it staged? I mean, facts are facts. This guy is going to be arrested. The second guy was. So, I mean, like, are you going to find somebody who is willing to give up literally the rest of their lives in prison for a staged attempt? I don't know. I don't know. Dude, did we kill your love views? Is it actually better if we stay away? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Anyway, look, the idea, live, did we kill your live views? Is it actually better if we stay away? No. You see, this is the thing, man. Like, would I love to have a channel that is big enough that I could kind of quit my day job and just do this? Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, realistically, that happens to like 0.0001% of people who do YouTube. I am doing this because I like to rant and rave. I like to fucking talk to people. I like to share my opinions on things. And I mean, like, this is the perfect platform for it, right? I mean, like, especially in the format that I'm doing right now. I don't have anybody on that can disagree and that I can argue back and forth with. Before you leave to Cambodia that's it's a couple of years off probably, but unfortunately. But look, anyway, I just think that, like, yeah, sorry, I'll wrap up what I was saying. Me kind of live streaming now, I don't care about my viewers. I don't care how many people watch my streams. I don't care how many people, you know, are wanting to tune in and to, like, I don't care if 4 people, 2 people, 1 person watches the entirety of a stream that I put up. I don't care if that happens. It is just me ranting and raving, sharing my opinions. That's what I'm doing YouTube for. Can we hang out for a bit after? I'll take your link. Yeah, sure. No, absolutely. I'll send you a message on either Twitter, WhatsApp, something for the link. But yeah, no, look, I just to sum up, the idea that Pierce is not a right winger is, to me, just laughable now at this point. It's just almost just undeniable. And I think that he just needs to just do everybody a favor and stop fucking lying to his viewers. That's it. But look, anyway, I hope that you like the new series that's going to be going forward and stuff like that. I have a couple of other people in mind, people that I like, people that I dislike. We're going to be kind of stopping and starting as what was going on in this video and kind of reacting or breaking down what was said or what was going on or anything else like that. So, point is, thank you so much to everybody who showed up. to everybody in the live chat. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of that YouTuber bollocks, and I shall talk to you in the next one. Mathpig, look out for that link. I will send it extremely, extremely soon.